The Oxford Dictionary defines the word sign as an event, action, or fact that shows that something exists or may happen in the future. The last sentence here in the definition is important to note. The part where it says, shows that something exists or may happen in the future. Signs are communication tools of events or facts that signal what may happen in the future. The verses of the revelation of the Quran are well known to Muslims as signs or ayahs.
When our clear signs are rehearsed to them, they say, "This is only a falsehood invented."
Of course, the signs of the Quran constitute the rules and laws that provide guidance both in this world as far as justice is concerned, and protect us from the dangers lurking in the world of the unseen. For this reason, God has dubbed the revelation as the truth, because it represents both, as far as its signs are concerned, guidance towards what is good for mankind, and protection against hidden realities.
O ye who believe, stand out firmly for justice, as witnesses to Allah, even as against yourselves, or your parents, or your kin, and whether it be against rich or poor, for Allah can best protect both. And ye were on the brink of the pit of the fire, and He saved you from it. Thus doth Allah make His signs clear to you, that ye may be guided.
One of the main purposes of the Quran is to warn mankind of the dangers that are coming and will present themselves on the day of judgment.
O mankind, fear your Lord, for the convulsion of the day of judgment will be a thing terrible. That day a man will flee from his brother, his mother, his father, his wife, and his children. When he comes to us, he says of his evil deeds, "Would that between me and you were the distance of east and west. Ah, what an evil companion indeed."
So frightful are those dangers that God has reminded us in the Quran of two things. Firstly, the Quran and Muhammad is a source of mercy for mankind. And secondly, being a mercy, we should be attentive to the Quran and listen to it, especially for the believers.
And we have not sent you, Muhammad, but as a mercy to the worlds. Whenever the Quran is recited to you, listen to it so that you may receive mercy.
For those who reject the Quran, well, then God has left His signs in creation for them to pay attention to and to heed its wisdom. In fact, the whole universe as well as our own creation are signs or sources of knowledge that can lead to personal conviction in God and afterlife.
Soon we will show them our signs in the universe and in themselves, until it becomes manifest to them that this, the Quran, is the truth. Do they not look at the birds, held poised in the midst of the air and the sky? Nothing holds them up but the power of Allah. Verily in this are signs for those who believe.
More significantly though, signs are the means by which God communicates or speaks to mankind.
It is not fitting for a man that Allah should speak to man except by inspiration, or from behind a veil, or from the sending of a messenger.
God communicates to mankind through veils, as the Quran puts it. What are those veils? Well, behind a veil means any intermediate thing or experience existing between us and the Creator. For instance, veils can include, but not limited to, dreams, ideas, insights, inspiration, vision, intuition, premonition, art, a personal passion, etc. All of which can be mediums of God's communication. If we listen and trust ourselves, that communication can liberate us, free us from the shackles of self-doubt and smallness that so often plague our lives. Sometimes people can reserve God's word exclusively for the prophets and imams, seeing them, of course, as the exclusive choice for God, for whom God seeks to communicate with. But the Quran reminds us, by the example of a person like you and me, not a prophet or a masoom, whom God described as having tried to communicate with in order to spiritually empower him. But of course, he allowed his base desires to get the better of him.
Relate to them the story of the man to whom we sent our signs, but he passed them by. So Shaitan followed him up, and he went astray.
Similarly, we have an example in Noah's son who turned from the signs of Allah, in that he wouldn't listen even as the water poured forth, and it was evident the decree of Allah. He refused to accept the signs of his impending doom. The Quran says of such a person, they are worse than animals because they are deaf, dumb, and blind to the signs, even though they have the faculties of sight, hearing, and understanding that would have enabled them to recognize the truth when it appears.
So the ark floated with them on the waves, towering like mountains, and Noah called out to his son, who had separated himself from the rest, O my son, embark with us, and be not with the unbelievers. He replied, I will betake myself to some mountain, it will save me from the water. Noah said, This day nothing can save from the command of Allah any but those on whom He hath mercy. And the waves came between them, and the son was among those overwhelmed in the flood.
The Quran points to the particular cause behind people's denial of the signs of Allah. Their denial is rooted in the haughtiness of arrogance.
Those who behave arrogantly on the earth in defiance of right, them will I turn away from my signs. They will not believe in them. And if they see the right way of conduct, they will not adopt it as the way. But if they see the way of error, that is the way they will adopt. For they rejected our signs and failed to take warning from them.
Arrogance is different than ignorance. Islam acknowledges a person's ignorance. Ignorance, merely being unaware of something which once made known, may be accepted. But an arrogant person may see the truth and, for personal reasons, begrudgingly and stubbornly rejects it. A case in point is when the Jews and the Christians, the people of the book, rejected the Prophet Muhammad.
The people of the book recognize him, Muhammad, as they recognize their own sons, but some of them conceal the truth, which they themselves know.
Today, people do the same thing with Islam. They either reject it begrudgingly or let go of its practice because it's an inconvenience to their lifestyle. They lose the capacity to respond to its signs and to heed its warnings. The day is coming when the arrogant will admit the truth. The hope is whoever among them do so before the time comes, when they will be gathered in throngs and addressed by the guardians of the fire.
And its keepers will say, Did not messengers come to you, rehearsing to you the signs of your Lord, and warning you of the meeting of this day of yours? The answer will be, True, but the decree of punishment has been proved true against the unbelievers.